All right.
What's poppin'? Majic Mike in that mix. You're tuning into the Majic Show every Friday from 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern and Saturday from 12 to 2 p.m. Eastern on Live 89 FM. Get the app and go to www.live89fm.com. Man, right now on my Zoom, you know what I mean? All our interviews that we're doing over Zoom, go to my YouTube channel, Majic Mike YouTube series, and all our audio is going to be on the radio. But we got a legend right here. We got a legend in the house. Last time I saw this brother, he was down here in Ottawa, Canada. We had a show at the Bourbon Room, RIP Bourbon Room. That's not open right now. Yeah. And we got a legend right here. We got my man, Swifty Mc Vay from the legendary hip-hop group D12. What's going on?
Majic Mike in the place to be.
What's going on, my brother? What are you doing? How you coping, man, under all this, man? I can't believe, you know, I'm talking to you again. This is 2020, you know, close to the end of it. And, man, it's great to see you.
Good to see you too, brother. Yeah, man, it's been a crazy year, man. Crazy year. But, you know, I've been, you know, adapting to it, man, with the quarantine and everything, man. It ain't do nothing but energize to take my mind to a whole nother level, man. Trying new things, doing things that I ain't never did before, learning new things. So if you was in this quarantine and just ain't elevated your mind with learning something new, then you just got a lazy mind. You know what I'm saying? It just kind of inspired me to tackle new things, man. So music, scripts, and writing and reading more, that's been my thing for 2020.
Okay. So, yeah. Swifty Mc Vay, we don't need an introduction. You're from the legendary hip-hop group, D12, you know what I mean? Another rapper that was popular from D12 is Eminem, you know what I mean? So we're going to talk a little bit about that later on. So, you know what I mean? You're from Detroit, Michigan. You're from Detroit, Michigan. And, you know what I mean? I ask every artist this because I want to know how they got into hip-hop. How did you get into your craft? How did you begin this?
Man, you know, I've been rapping since I was like 6 or 7 years old, man. So, you know, back in the early 80s, breakdancing, and when music was just starting to bubble. I mean, you know, hip-hop already been out since the early 70s, but when the 80s came in, before lyrical miracles, you know, started to, you know, really get us justice, I've been rapping since then, on the playground, battling. Me and my homeboys would walk to elementary school, rapping the Fat Boys. Then when we get to a certain location, we'll rap Run DMC raps, and then we'll rap, you know, this rap. So it's always been in me. This is all I wanted to do. Wasn't no plan B, wasn't no plan C. If this music didn't work, I don't know what else I would want to do but music. I just breathed it since I was 6 or 7 years old, man. When I heard Run DMC for the first time, when I seen a video for Rock Box, I think that's what did it for me. You know, when I seen Run DMC walk into that museum, and then Run was like, Calvin Klein, no friend of mine, don't want nobody's name on my behind. And when he said that, that metaphor, that's when it clicked. I was like, oh, that makes sense. That was witty. So that's what made me want to create metaphors and just come up with some witty rhymes. Yeah.
Isn't hip hop like the 4 elements, even just the rhyme? Isn't it so beautiful? You know what I mean? How could it just capture you, even when it was organic? Like right now, you know, the state of hip hop, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of the, you know what I mean, OGs are coming back, like yourself. A lot of the, you know, newer cats are starting to do, you know what I mean, more organic, like big ups to Griselda. There's a few other ones right there too as well. So, you know, the game is changing right now. So what do you say to the artists right now who won't be able to adapt to that? Because the game is changing, and these guys that are just rhyming about nothing, they're not going to be able to adapt to the change. We see the change. Public Enemy released album, Nas's album, you know what I mean? Your album coming up, like it's crazy right now.
It's almost like I use, for example, man, like boxing. If a person was a boxer and they love boxing, they go back and check the forefathers of the boxers before their time. They go check out Muhammad Ali, Sonny Liston, and everybody who did it. Just try to check their techniques out to see how they did it. You know what I'm saying? So I think rappers need to dig back to check out the forefathers of who came before them to really know what the art of hip hop and rapping is all about, man. And I think a lot of cats, man, just look at us like we old and they don't need to go back and see what's going on. Yeah, go back to the 80s, go back to the 90s, do your history. YouTube these cats and see why we're torn from that cloth. And you will really, really understand what you know, how things are supposed to maneuver out here. And I don't think a lot of cats in today's time are doing that, man. They're like, yo, this is me, this is it. And there's a lot of fresh guys and there's a lot of whack guys, but they don't check their history, man. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
unfortunately, that's the way it is right now. You know what I mean? They get a beat, they jump on it. You don't even have to learn how to flow on the beat. Unfortunately, it's like that. But like I said, there's a big change coming right now. And if you don't adapt to it, it's going to roll over you, just like the whole world right now. Now, speaking of this whole
Yeah.
world, you know, I mean, speaking of this whole world right now, like how you handle this COVID situation, just the whole, you know, adaptation of it.
Yeah, I just, learn to adapt, man. I mean, I was always a germophobic myself, man. I always was one to wash my hands and, it was just like, I don't want to be around this, so wash this down or wipe this down. You just learn to adapt, man. Now, things that we should have been doing or the world should have been doing way more back in the past is taking in effect. And this is how it's going to be. It's a new, a brand new, as I call it, man. So I've been learning to adapt to it, man. My anxiety, when people feel like I got to go out, I got to do this, I got to do this. Now I'm sitting back thinking like, do you really have to go out? Do you really have to do this? Just relax, get your thoughts together, formulate whatever you need to formulate and take your time. And this is what it's taught me, to take your time, because before all this COVID thing hit, everybody felt like they got to rush and do. But I was like, no, let me just sit back, relax, get my mind together, and then tackle things a little bit more easier. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I've been doing.
So let me ask you this though, right? Do you see the world going back to the way it was, right? Like, do you like it will reopen at some point, but as far as like the old world coming back, I myself don't really see it, because this is years of damage. It's been 7 months right now, and this is like 10 years of damage. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I don't see the world really getting back to how it was. Even when when they find a vaccine for it, it's still done damage everybody's heads, man. I mean, the way we think and the way we approach situations, man. So it's gonna always leave a scar in us, man, as time go past. Even when they find a vaccine, you know what I'm saying? It's just crazy the damage to 6 months, 7 months and did. You know what I'm saying?
of course, you got all these small businesses closed. The entertainment business is actually being closed up. See, like artists like yourself that have longevity, they can last through this because people always streaming. People, you know what I mean? You release a single, people are going to pop off to your older singles. And, you know what I mean? There's other ways. You're Swifty Mc Vay. You got a name for yourself. But there's a lot of, people in the industry, they don't have a name for themselves. And, the touring, they live off the touring. The little Instagram gimmicks don't really work anymore because everybody's doing it. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's at home watching the same thing over and over, right? So, you know what I mean? You're lucky to be you're lucky to be a legendary artist. You know what I mean? You still got that longevity and everything else, but what do you say for these younger artists right now? What advice can you give to them? Because a lot of them are suffering right now.
Man, you know what was the best thing about it is, when we came out, man, it wasn't no social media and stuff like that out, man. So we had to touch the people's minds organically. It's better now because there's ways to go around it. They can sit at home, promote themselves. They can build them a studio. They can go online, and they can just kind of tap into the world, to where when we came out, it wasn't none of this available, man. So all I'm saying is just stay diligent in your craft, and you don't have to wait for a major label to come and pick you up, man, because you have things right there in front of you that will allow you to touch the people even more. It's just about how much you dedicate yourself to the craft and dedicate yourself to wanting to reach people, because you have it right then and there. You know what I'm saying? So stay diligent, man. I mean, you're going to see more rappers pop up, more actors, and you got to get in where you fit in. You got to be organic. You have to go totally against the grain, be original. You know what I'm saying? Try not to sound like everybody else, because that's the way, because that's the thing that labels embedded in our head, is we got to do this because this is what's popping. No, stay original. You know what I'm saying? Stay lyrical and stay original. You know what I'm saying?
Now, speaking of lyrical, everybody in D12, you all had your own style. You know what I mean? And let's talk about that right now. How did you link up with Eminem, right? And how did you guys form D12?
I've been knowing Eminem since like 1993, man. Proof Proof was the one who masterminded the whole thing, man. He came up with the idea.
R.I.P. to Proof. You know what I mean? That was
Big Proof, man.
Yes.
Yeah, see, Proof was an all-around guy, man. Like, he stayed on the west side of Detroit with his grandmother, and his grandmother stayed 5 blocks from me. But his mother stayed on the east side of Detroit, like blocks away from Canava and Con Artists. So when he was with his mama, he was around Con Artists and Canava. But when he was with his grandmother, he was around me. So we got, we knew each other, man, and this developed a rapport. So when the hip hop shop opened, it was an open mic that was opened by Maurice Malone. He had a clothing line, and when people came there every Saturday, people would do open mic from 3 to 6 every Saturday for like 5 or 6 years. So Proof was the host. So he was like, "Yo, come on up to the hip hop shop, man, and come on kick some verses, whatever." So when I came there, I would rip the mic with my previous group that I was with before D12, and that's how I met Eminem. So he introduced me to M in the hip hop shop. I seen Eminem rap for the first time in the hip hop shop, and then Proof came up with an idea to have all the elite MCs join a super group like Wu-Tang. He was like, "Yo, I got this idea for this super group called D12, man. If you want to be in it, you can be in it." He was telling all the elite MCs about this, but I was in another group at the time. So when D12 formulated, I wasn't in D12 at first, and it was started off with 12 dudes, and it ended up with 6. But I was still going to their shows. I was still going to their studio sessions. They were still coming to support my shows. So it was always a relationship with me and the D12 guys. So after 6 dudes fell off and there was 6 dudes left, one of the members, Bugs, he knew I was solo at the time and was just like, "Yo, man, I think it'd be a great idea that Swift joined the group." So as soon as I joined the group, Bugs got murdered like, 3 weeks later.
Okay.
And 3 weeks later. And we ended up getting signed shortly after. Yeah.
So when you got signed, right, and you look back now, right, if you had social media and, you know what I mean, the way the internet is now, it'd be a whole different ballgame, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Now, what's the difference now? What do you see, like, as far as the difference now, right? Do you see it easy as an artist right now to come out?
I think, you know what, man? I think it's a little bit easier now because, like I said before, we didn't have all the elements that artists have now. You got social media. You can bring 100,000 people to one store. You know what I'm saying? You can go ahead and tap into 2,000 people at one time, 5,000 people at one time. To where when we came out, it was organic, man. You still you still can go gold in 1 week because you didn't have to worry about your song getting leaked or whatever. You know what I'm saying? A lot of that. So when Napster came in, Napster took all these artists' music and was leaking it for free, and the music industry kind of went down financially because they was losing money. You know what I'm saying?
And then,
so when all the social media.
And then for example, when the industry went down, they didn't want to give too much money. Labels didn't want to give artists too much money, and it got weak. And all these everybody started getting digital studios. You could just do it at home. And yeah, like Napster, you can say it killed the game, but it kind of elevated it. It made the artists work harder. You know what I'm saying? So
it did. So like, I was talking to somebody the other day about how when Napster came in and it kind of put a dent in the game a little bit. But the labels had to figure out a way. Like, it was like, "Yo, if we go ahead and put this music out and they go get it for free, we got to find out how we can kind of capitalize off of people still listening to it for free." And that's why streaming is in. We're like, we know you go listen to it whenever you want, but now we're going to go ahead and charge pennies upon pennies for you to listen to it for free. So it did elevate it in a sense. You know what I'm saying? I just found out a way to get up out of that. You know what I'm saying?
So do you believe in mixtapes still? Do you believe like the whole mixtape era is dead? Because I know DJs, including myself, I feel like putting out a tape myself. I haven't done that in a few years. But do you see the mixtape game still popping off? Because now you could just go on Spotify, iTunes. You can stream everywhere now. Digital radio is huge. Like Spotify playlists. Some of the biggest playlists are people playing in their car, right? So, you know what I mean? So what do you think? The mixtape era, is it dead? Is it totally dead? Because tapes now are albums.
Yeah, you know what? I don't think it's dead, man. I think you still, which I call it, you still have to bring open mic to people's front door, man. Like, if you can't get to an open mic to see how dope a person really is, like how I used to be in the 90s, you got to give them a mixtape so people can know how you get down. Like, this is how I get down. This is how I get busy on the mic. And you got to give them a little something, because the consumers are thinking, well, if I can get you for free, what will make me want to buy your stuff? So you got to sacrifice a little by putting that open mic sound on tape, on mixtapes, and giving it to the people so they can see how you get down behind the mic, and that will encourage them to want to go ahead and buy your real music.
Well, I wasn't gonna play anything old from you, but I must, right? There's this track called Purple Pills, okay? Now, you know, I gotta say, D12, Eminem, you know what I mean, everybody from your camp, you really pushed a new era, you know what I'm saying? A new era, a new realm in hip-hop, right? So Purple Pills, you know what I mean, was a smash hit. And you guys did a lot of comical stuff, you know what I mean? Then you got into the whole, you know, the whole fight music thing, you know what I mean? So tell me about Purple Pills now. How did that concept come up?
Man, I mean, you know, this is what we did. We already was silly, genuine dudes, man. I'm talking about, it wasn't a day that went past that we didn't laugh and joke together. We laughed and joked in the studio. We laughed and joked on the way touring. Wherever we was, we always had fun and laughing, man. So it was just a element of us being silly, doing what we do, and everything in Purple Pills embodied who we really are, man. We some real serious, hardcore rapping MCs, but we're silly as hell. So when we pop some pills and we laughed and joked, man, we just put it on wax. That's just who we are. You notice, man, everything about Purple Hills was silly because we some silly dudes. We always laughing, we always joking and laughing to keep from crying. In this crazy world.
You know what? This is a perfect song right now. Let's check out this track by D12. Track is called Purple Pills. Legendary track. I think it's the track that made you all. Here we go.
Yeah.
Majic Mike in that mix. Let's go.
Let's get it.
And we're back. You know what I mean? Hope y'all didn't OD on that. Right. So, you know what I mean? I know I've been watching a lot of your concerts from back in the day, right? I see a lot of fans passing out, you know what I mean? It's so hot. A lot of the ladies are passing out. What was the most craziest thing? Because I know you went on tour with Eminem a few times. I think you went on the Chronic tour. Like, how was it being on tour with Eminem and just all y'all? Because y'all have your own individual characters, you know?
Man, duh. Like I said, nothing but fun, man. It was like a big, gigantic blur, man. Every day we wake up, when we around each other, man, not to say that it wasn't no serious moments, but we always found a way to laugh and be silly through the madness. That's just how we was, man. So touring was fun. Being around these guys, man, the energy was just so dope. That's why when a lot of people see us, they seen a lot of energy and camaraderie. It wasn't like we was a group that was just thrown together and say, okay, you rap, come on together, let's make a group. No, we had history. We've been around each other. We was all in each other's studio sessions and shows, so we understood each other. That's why the chemistry was so strong, man. But being around each other, man, it was so much fun and laughter. We were able to create them joints because of the chemistry. So it was a lot of chemistry going on with the group. A lot of chemistry, you know what I'm saying?
Must have been a lot of weed burning too, you know what I mean?
A lot
Like
of
Chronic.
weed burning, a lot of pills popping, a lot of liquor passing.
and a lot of groupies. We won't get into that portion of it, but so let's get into what you're popping off right now, right? You got this track called, I was gonna play Black Diamond, but I want to play Death Wish.
Okay.
Because, you know, I mean, we're in a time right now that is very, very, very serious, you know? So when did you come out with Death Wish? When did you decide to write this and put this out?
Man, Death Wish, produced by Indi Empire. Those my brothers, man. Them guys are so funny, super talented, man. They sent me the track, and it just automatically took me into story mode, man. So I'm real big on, you know, telling stories about my past and things. So I just took, you know, different situations that happened to me in the past and put them all in one song, man. It just birthed the story, man. You know what I'm saying? And the rest is history. Yeah. I
want to say big ups to Indi Empire. You know what I mean? They're working hard, one of Canada's finest. Do you love working with Canadian artists? Like, how many other artists have you worked up here in Canada with?
Well, you know what? As far as musically, Indi Empire is like the only group that I actually collab with to do a record with. And we actually got some old songs in the vault in the future. But I done toured with a lot of Canada artists like Classified, you know, big up to the Godfather of hip hop, you know what I'm saying? Classified and a couple other cats, man.
Maestro Fresh West.
Yep, Maestro Fresh
Okay.
West, the Godfather of Canadian hip hop. Let your backbone slide. Yeah, big shout out to him, man.
You know, it's funny. You all were in Detroit, okay? And you know what I mean? Windsor's right across the river. You know what I mean? If you could walk across that water, it'd take you 5 minutes to walk over, right? You heard of Canadian music. You saw much music. You know much music. Of course, you all know much music, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We done toured Canada. I done lost count how many times we done toured Canada, man. So I had a chance to vibe with a lot of Canada artists. I just, as far as working with them on wax and putting some music out, Eddie Empire has to be the first group from Canada that I actually collab with doing music business with. You know what I'm saying? And I'm so happy I did that because they brought something out of me that I, you know what I'm saying, that I didn't know I had it tucked in me, man. So big shout outs to Eddie Empire for sure.
Of course. I remember when you came here to Ottawa, you know what I mean? We've met each other at Flyboys Boutique. Big ups to Tony and everybody. And we went out to, you know, Bourbon Road. It was nice. It was nice. You know what I mean? And, you know, do you feel like after the whole COVID situation, right, you're going to come back up here to Canada and, you know what I mean, rock the mic again in the stage?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You know, when me and Eddie Empire was talking about doing a video, man, I would have definitely been out there to shoot the video with him, but we had to work it out. The borders was closed and everything. And we definitely was talking about how much we're going to go ahead and come together and tour once this COVID thing is over, man. So if it wasn't for this COVID, I would have been over there this summer. I would have been definitely rocking. I had a couple of show offers to come on over there before the COVID, man. So I just know we're going to pick up where we left off sooner or later.
Yeah, my brother, like even I'm being affected. I throw events here in Ottawa, right? We had a Halloween. First, we had a St. Patrick's Day party, right? We had a Valentine's Day party that was nuts, right? Then we're going to have a St. Patrick's Day. Then they called off the whole city. It was a lockdown. Then, you know, the city kind of got opened up again. I was having a Halloween party, and they closed it off, right? So we're going to have the whole Halloween party digitally at the nightclub. So you come in, perform, and people see from your home. They had to call everything off. No clubs could be open. And some of these artists can't work their equipment from their home. A lot of them don't have equipment. They don't have the microphone. So, you know, it's affecting all of us, right? So we definitely got to learn to cope with it. And, you know, I'm probably going to throw something. So what about you? What about you, my brother? Are you doing concerts online? That's my point, right? And are you willing to work with promoters to, like, you know what I mean, go from your home and you do your part from your home or something?
You know what? I've been thinking about doing a concert online, man. I actually got some cats that I want to work with, that I may be working with in the future to do something like that. And not knocking the Instagram Live or the Facebook Live. You probably won't see me doing it on Instagram Live or Facebook Live because, you know, I'm a totally against the grain dude. And if I bring something to the table on that level, it's going to be something where y'all can come to my website and see, or something on that level. And I want to do it right. I don't want to be like how everybody else is doing it, not knocking them if that's the only way that, you know, you can be seen. But when I bring something to the table, man, I'm going to make sure that it's something that the fans is going to appreciate and it's going to be worth their while. Okay.
So let's hear Death Wish. You know what I mean? Anything else you want to say about this track before we hear Death Wish? Like, is it coming off an album? Is it coming off an album of yours, mixtape?
It's off the Eddie Empire. The Eddie Empire album is out now on all digital sites, man. If you like this track, go stream it, go listen to it, download it. It's just a day in the life of Swifty Mc Vay, man. When you hear the song, you go hear the storytelling, and it's gonna put you right into the zone as if you're there, man, like a movie. So Death Wish, produced by Eddie Empire, and here we go. Let's get it.
Let's go right here on the Majic Show.
Yes, sir.
And we're back again. You know what I mean? You're tuned into the Majic Show every Friday from 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern on Live 89 FM. And right now we're talking to Swifty Mc Vay over the Zoom. Go to my YouTube channel, Majic Mike YouTube series. Swifty, I love that track right there. You guys par up. You know what I mean? You guys work good together. You and Eddie Empire.
Thank you. Thank you. There's a lot of chemistry going on between us, man.
All right. So we got this other track by. It's called Never Stop Fighting. Now, you know, when did you come out with it? When did you write this? When did you actually produce this? Was it during the COVID? situation that we're going through right now?
You know what? Let me tell you, this album that me and Eddie Empire did, man, we actually did the whole album within 1 week. 1 week during quarantine. When quarantine first started, we finished the whole album in 1 week. And this is one of the songs that I came up with called Never Stop the Fight. And when I heard the track, man, it instantly took me into a zone of motivation, you know, never stop fighting for what you want to do in life. It took me back in my mind when I was 7, 8 years old, and the things that I went through. Always had managers coming up. It was always people who believed in me growing up or whatever, man. So that track instantly took me into that zone, man. And we did that track. I finished that track maybe a day after I heard the beat, and it was history from there.
So I guess like COVID puts everybody in that creative situation, especially, you know, I mean, if everybody's staying at home and you know everybody's at home, the whole industry, the whole world, you could be in India, Africa, everybody's at home. And this is a great time to have content, you know what I mean? Continuous content.
Yeah. This is a great time to put out music.
It is a great time to put out music. So is there anything like, what's your social media? How can they get a hold of you? And what are your plans for the future? Because if this whole thing locked down, we're here in another 7, 8 months right now, this thing ain't going to give up. You know what I'm saying? So what are we going to expect from you during the next 8 months of this lockdown? That
I've been going strong. Yeah, I've been going strong with the music, man. I got the Detroit Life. I got the Detroit Life album coming out November 27th. So make sure y'all tune into that. And I also got this Detroit Life clothing line coming out too, man. So I got the album, got the clothing line dropping November 27th. We also got some more Eddie Empire music coming out at the beginning of the year. And I'm in this movie called Trap City, man, with oh shoot, man, my mind is gone right now. It's a couple of people up in that movie, man, that you will want to see that I'm in the movie with, man. So I'm doing my thing in there. I think it dropped maybe like February or March of 2001. So, but really, I'm going real heavy on the music, man. So the Detroit Life, Eddie Empire album coming up, and just expect some more music coming out because I'm going hard on them, baby. Real hard.
So what's your social media? Because when you post up like that movie that you're going to be into, they could actually see the name. So what's your social media? Your Facebook, Instagram, even your email?
You can catch me on Instagram at McVay_D12. That's McVay_D12. The same for the Twitter. And my Facebook is Swifty D12. Yep. So, and if you want to go ahead and get any hard copies of my previous music, y'all make sure y'all go to SwiftyMcVay_D12.com. That's my website with all my hard copies of all the previous music I've done. And yeah.
Say that again. Say your Facebook again and give that info again. We just had the Zoom just froze up a little bit right there.
Oh, okay. My Facebook is Swifty D12, and my Instagram is McVay_D12, and my Twitter is McVay_D12, McVay_D12. And if you want to get some hard copies of the previous music I put out, that is SwiftyMcVay_D12.com.
You know what? You're Smith and McVay. Just look it up. Everything's there. I like that picture in back of you. Is that Bob Marley?
Yes, sir. Got that straight from the Bahamas.
Oh, you got the lion too. I had a shirt like that too, man. That's dope. You know what I mean? Dope. What do you think?
Yeah,
what do you
that's
think?
actually a towel.
So
I just decided to get up.
So you know, right? You know, Windsor's right beside you, Windsor, Canada, and you know, out here in Canada, weed's legal, right? Is it like that out in Detroit right now? Like, is it like, are they being lenient with cannabis right now? Because we got cannabis everywhere. Let me show you something. I don't like showing this on TV, right? But because it's legal in Canada, it comes in little canisters like this. You know what I'm saying? Big ups to Tokyo Smoke. So if you ever come back to Ottawa D12, you know, we got you. Tokyo Smoke. I do business with Tokyo Smoke. But yeah, you know what I mean, like how is everything out there? Are they lenient? Because last December, I had brothers come up from New York, right? And I took them to, you know, Tokyo Smoke and, you know what I mean, and other places around Ottawa. They couldn't believe it. And they say, yo, with this little spliff in my hand, if I got caught in New York with this, I'd be in for a month. I'm like, you kidding me? You know what I'm saying? How is it down there in Detroit?
It's very lenient, man. I mean, going to the dispensaries are like liquor stores. It's one on every other corner now.
So you got that too out there. So it's not like, so out in the East, like that, just down south from us in New York, it's very strict on that weed thing, man. Like, come on, you know?
Yeah. New York is very expensive, but very strict at the same time, man. So it's so many people out there in New York, man. They looking like, yo, we got to crack down on something because they got so many people out there. So I can just imagine the hell that they going through dealing with the people out there in general. You know what I'm saying?
Not even just that. Not even just that.
New York.
I love New York too, but not even just that, my brother. A lot of people have left New York. You know what I mean? Like 450, I think 500,000 people left. You know what I mean? And just the way the situation is. Now, we got the election coming up, right? I want to talk to you about this, right? Like, we're going to play a track, Never Stop Fighting. And this is the reason why we're going to play it. Now, we got the election. We got the election coming up right now. We got the election. And this is a tough one here. Either way, they're saying if Trump wins, they're not letting him back in the White House. Pelosi said that. What's your whole take on that? Because you're down there right now. I don't think Detroit is Detroit rioting and all that. You tell me right now. Tell us the whole inside of what's going on in Detroit during these times. And is Detroit a Trump state or a Biden state?
You know what? It's kind of hard to tell, man. Detroit is the city, and you know, and Detroit is real big on prejudice in this, man. So it's like, yo, if you being prejudiced and you ain't for our people, then you know we ain't gonna stand for you. So if that's the direction that Trump want to go, showing that he don't really care about the people like that, then you know Detroit go stand up for that. Like, yo, we gotta change it up. You know what I'm saying? But with Biden, I mean, you know, I don't know. I just want to see people tell. I want to see if you're gonna say something, do it. That's just my thing.
And not even just that. You want to like get somebody that can get us out of the situation, because the whole world. Let me tell you something. The whole world depends on this election. Believe it or not, right? Believe it or not. And we don't want to get into the whole politics of the whole thing, but Smithy, what a time to be alive right now. This is the best time to be alive. You know, this is one of the biggest changes in the world, right? So Never Stop Fighting. Are you going to come out with a music video for this or something?
We got a video. Yep. Go to Swifty Mc Vay Vivo. You'll be able to see the video for the track. Produced by Eddie Empire, starring me and Eddie Empire. And I think you're going to really feel it, man. I'm taking it back to my childhood and just really showing the fight. Me being young, wanting to become an MC, the trials and tribulations that I went through. But I never stopped to fight regardless of what tribulation I went through, man. So that's what the video is pretty much showing you. Yeah.
So anything last you want to say to the world right now that's tuned in? Because we're worldwide. You know what I'm saying? This is a digital takeover. It's a whole different ball game. You know what I mean? A whole different ball game. Within these 7 months, it's a whole different ball game. Like analog is I'm not saying analog is dead. Like I was forced to move, right? But I'm telling you, this is a whole different world. So what do you got to say to the whole world right now? And they will be listening.
Oh, man, I'm just letting you know, man, we coming out strong. Canava got a new project coming out called The Underdog. I think it's November something. I don't want to say the wrong date, but the first week in November he dropping. Then I got the Detroit Life album by Swifty Mc Vay dropping November 27th along with some new clothes. So just tune in to my Instagram, tune in to my Facebook for some new updates, man. And we go get the world this music while we on lockdown, baby.
All right. So here's Never Stop Fighting by...
Yep, Never Stop the Fight.
Never Stop the Fight by Swifty Mc Vay from the legendary hip-hop group D12. I was just so blown away by this interview. Thank you so much for coming on to the Majic Show, my brother.
Thank you for having me, my brother. I appreciate you, man.
You're coming back down here. You better come back down here.
I definitely will. I got my brothers out there, Eddie Empire out there. So I told them whenever this thing slows down, I'm out there, man. I'm gonna look you up, baby. So let's talk again.
I would love to have you and Eddie Empire perform at one of my concerts. You know what I mean? Let's just make it happen. Let's just get through this whole COVID thing and reopen back up and see what's popping. You know what I mean? Here's Swifty Mc Vay with Never Stop Fighting right here on the Majic Show. Let's go.